always wanted to know something. How are things built? I want to know how we build things. And today, I actually want to know how to build something very simple that we see every day. But I always wondered, how do you build these things? Why do we build these things? Where do we build these things? I want to know, how do you build a house? What goes into it? Who does it or who pays for it? I wonder. You can't build a house wherever you want. Everything needs to come together. You'll need permits, zoning, planning, paperwork. So much paperwork. Also, you need to consider, do you want to live in the suburbs? Do you want to live in the city? Single family? Multi-family? Where do you want to live? Where do you want to move to? Where do you want to go? Why is it so hard to build a house? Hey, if I want to design a terrible looking house, I have the right to do that. You need to own the land. You need to buy the land. The first thing you need is location. Once you find your location, you gotta have it surveyed. Other things you gotta consider. How do you access these houses? How do you get to your house? Do you take a main road, back road, driveway, parkway? It all depends. You gotta design this house. And what does it go into designing a house? There's so much that goes into a house. It is a huge undertaking. And yet, the average human person can actually build a house. Things you gotta consider: footings, plumbing, electrical, framing the houses, trusses. Let's not forget the drywall. Depending on the design, who do you want to go mad? The architect or the engineer? That all depends on the house. That all depends on the design. What kind of roof you want? Gable? A-frame? It all depends. And how you want your windows look like. Do you want big wide windows? Or do you mind? Or do you mind something very simple for small windows? Many windows? One window? No windows. No windows. You also got to consider heating, cooling, air conditioning, and as well, everything needs to be connected. Air vents, windows, doors. Doors and windows come in many shapes and forms. You just gotta find the right one for you. What is the cost breakdown of the building? To build a house, it will cost between $10,000 to several millions of dollars, depending what you want. You gotta hire the right people. You gotta hire a contractor. You gotta hire a subcontractor. You gotta hire a contractor or subcontractor. It all depends on the job that needs to be done. With electrical, everything comes together in a brick box. The next thing you need is siding and bricks. What do you want your building to be made out of? Do you want bricks, concrete, wood? Everything in between? It's all up to you. Whether you choose your house or whether you buy your house or whether you design your house. What kind of yard do you want? Do you want a big yard, small yard? Things you gotta consider. How do you build anything? Specifically, how do you build buildings? How do you build infrastructure? How do you build a sidewalk? How do you build anything? And those are the questions I want to ask. I hope you'll go on this journey with me to discover, what does it take? What do you need? How do you pay for it to build our built environment?